Hey everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailysheeple.com, and this is your news shot. So to the International Business Times, scientists are warning of an unusually cold sun. I know, everybody's like, man, they said this back in the 70s, there's going to be an ice age. Meh. See, it just goes to show you how much science really is theoretical, and there's really very little about fact. But, if you start and you're observant, you can actually see that they actually knew all along that this was coming, and that this whole global warming fiasco had absolutely nothing to do with global warming, but it was to prepare the elite for the coming ice age, which is exactly what we've been seeing. If you observe what's going on in the background, folks, there is so many things that are going on in plain sight that we don't see because we're flooded with all of this information and all of this input, and our lives have been so overly complicated by the array of crap that we've just surrounded ourselves with from smartphones. And of course, I'm not knocking smartphones or the internet or anything else. I think they're wonderful tools. But life has become so much less simplistic and so much more overly complicated than I think it needs to be. People will make the argument that, look, the culture of convenience has made things infinitely easier in so many ways. I will say this. Things used to be a lot more cumbersome. Individual things used to be a lot more cumbersome, but people didn't do all those things because they were cumbersome. And now because they're easy, well, we just chalk this, this is easy now, so we just do this. We add this to our day. We add this to our day. We add this to our day. Now all of a sudden we've got a ton of crap that's going on. And we're just flooded. Not to mention, look at the news cycle. Used to be that you got your news, you got home from work, you read the paper, maybe watched the evening news on the mainstream media, and that was about all the news you got for the day. Now you're being flooded with it by 500 million different sites, giving 500 million different viewpoints at it's crazy, the amount of stuff that we're flooded with, and it's no surprise then why we don't see what's actually going on right in front of our face. And one of the things that's going on is the sun is cooling down. The sun is going quiet. And because the sun is going quiet, it is having effects on our planet and the other planets around us. It says here, remember the 1989 science fiction novel, The Dying Sun by Gary Blackwood, where people were forced to migrate from the U.S. to Mexico because of the freezing weather triggered by the cool down of the sun? Scientists are now afraid that such a situation can become reality, not in the future, the near future. The question is, are we prepared for another ice age? I mean, that's a good question. University of California, San Diego has claimed that by 2050, I think it's going to be a lot sooner than that. They say by 2050, the sun is expected to become cool. Now it says here, you might think, what's the big deal? But remember that this means the solar activities that create the heat of the sun to sustain life on Earth may diminish. And the last time this happened was the 17th century. And that was the time when the Thames River froze. Scientists called this the Maunder minimum. Physicist Dan Lubin at the university and his team studied the past event and concluded that we're in for a worse case. Think about that for a second. We're in for a worse case. The sun is expected to get much dimmer than the last time, and in scientific terms, it is a grand minimum, a time period in the 11-year solar cycle where solar activities are at their lowest point. According to this study, titled Ultraviolet Flux decrease under a grand minimum from IUE short wavelength observations of solar analogs, and published in the journal Astrophysical Journal Letters, this grand minimum will be 7% cooler than such periods from the past. Scientists also said the sun might have another cooling period in a decade. However, predicting a solar minimum or maximum is a challenge to scientists because of the nonlinear characteristics of solar activities that happens every day. See, during a minimum cycle, though solar cycles still occur, the intensity is very low. While during a max cycle, solar flares go up and the sun spews out billions of tons of clouds of electrified gas into space. And these two extremes can bring about some major global and regional climate changes. Not to mention, it also wreaks havoc on or as far as earthquakes and volcanoes. There's a ton of things that the sun actually affects. Now, think about this for a second. At the same time, solar activity is going down, and it has decreased over time. This is not the first time that this has happened. It is steadily decreasing. Scientists can go show you. You can see charts of this. In parallel, our magnetic field is weakening. So as solar activity decreases, our magnetic field decreases, which in turn makes us more vulnerable to cosmic rays and cosmic particles, either coming from the sun or coming from somewhere else out in space. Fact is, we're susceptible to being damaged by these particles and their effects on our planet. So if this does happen, and it does get cold, let's not forget, this may be one thing that's a problem, right? But let's not forget also the physical effects that it's going to have on our planet. And let us not also forget prophecies from ancient texts across all cultures that all talk about the end times, where the sun goes dark, where it gets cold, and where you have a tremendous amount of tectonic activity and volcanic activity. So it's no surprise to me that this is coming. But it seems that scientists have known for quite some time that this is coming, and they have kept it from you. Hence the reason why all these people in the know are building their underground shelters and their reinforced super state-of-the-art castles in the Ozarks and everything else, with the ability to grow food indoors and be self-sustaining for decades at a time. And did you get any information about this? No. The fact that they're building seed vaults in record time, breakneck speed, all over the world to ensure that should there be a cataclysm, why they have backup seeds to get the party started again. Why is the urgent need to do that unless something's on the way? Well, because it's the responsible thing to do. Well, let me ask you something. When has government actually done anything that's really responsible and in our best interest? They don't. They do things that's in the special interests' best interest, not us. So let's be real here. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because you need to understand and focus. This is coming sooner rather than later. This along with AI. You see, there is a lot of things that are converging at the same time. And when they hit, when they collide, folks, it's going to be cataclysmic on a scale that we have not witnessed, not in any of our lifetimes. And I'm talking World War II. I'm talking Great Depression. I'm talking some of the nastiest times in human history, the Black Plague, you name it. I'm telling you, we faced nothing like what's coming. So I'm telling you now, you think things are bad now? Oh, just wait. That's why take the time now to research these things, educate yourself, prepare yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, harden yourself. Put on that armor and get ready to do battle, because it's coming, and you're going to have to, whether you like it or not. Are you going to be successful? Are you going to heed the call, or are you going to just get eaten up by it? That's the question I have for all of you tonight. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. #WakeTheFlockUp. Have a great day, everybody.